Hello everyone, Harmony here. Sorry I'm so late with this video. I haven't had a lot of time to myself where I could get some quiet time to make a video. Anyway, this video is about satire, and since everyone else has done really good videos on this topic, I figured I would start by telling a story and then kind of try to attempt to relate that story to my feelings about satire. Anyway, about 6 or 7 years ago, I was riding in my friend's car, and she had a song playing on her stereo. I think it was actually like a CD or something she had made. The song was Tonight by FM Static. She started talking about how the lyrics in the chorus were about a guy's girlfriend who had died. And I remember finding that kind of strange, because there's no mention of the identity of the subject of the song or what the subject is referring to. The song does mention looking up at the stars towards someone, which does seem to suggest that it might be about someone who had died. But, like, it doesn't really reference the fact that it's the person's girlfriend or whatever. So I asked her why she felt that way, and she just said she assumed it because the singer is a guy. And that made me say, well, FM Static is a Christian band, so if you're interpreting the song through the singer, this could be the singer talking about God, because, like, you look up towards the stars at God too, right? Or at least that's what I think a Christian would say. And this song could be about the singer's relationship with God, because most Christian bands talk about that. And she kind of got a little bit offended by this, which confused me at first, but she told me that the song meant a lot to her because it reminded her of her grandfather who had passed away recently. So I was like, wow, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to offend you or anything like that. And I just didn't bring it up anymore. But I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is a dehumanizing process. I mean, she can only derive meaning from the song if she reads the singer's intent as being similar to her own situation here. Which means, like, if it does end up that this singer has the singer meant something different than what she has interpreted, that she no longer has a song to remember her grandfather by. Which blew my mind at the time, but this brings me to my problem with satire. Satire kind of has this same kind of dynamic in play, where, like, unlike other forms of art where you are allowed to take your own interpretation of things, and, like, if you're introspective, you can also wonder what that means about you, like what that interpretation says about your character or something. You can't do this with satire, right? Like, if you try to do that with satire, people say, no, you're doing it wrong. And I think this is dehumanizing and alienating. The excuse used by most people is that satire is supposed to be a parody of bad things, so it acts as a medium to allow you to derive pleasure from what would otherwise be a painful subject. And they say that this process is cathartic. But my question is why? Why do you need a system that allows you to derive pleasure from pain? And how can you submit to a system that lets you derive pleasure from what has caused and might continue to cause pain towards other people? And also, like, I have to wonder, if you're deriving pleasure from pain, is satire just cathartic, or is there an element of perversion there? And maybe when you try and make character-based analysis on people's interpretation of satire, maybe they're actually getting offended when they say you're doing it wrong. Maybe they're getting offended because they're afraid that they're bad people. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on satire. I know it might kind of be weird for most people, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you soon.